Welcome back to episode 1 of a new series. So this is going to be I basically just did the very tutorial. I got the 3 bone armor. We're gonna go turn it in, and then we're gonna go start running card rooms. I figured that would be a better start. So, as always, you always want to make sure that as soon as you join a server, you want to make sure you claim the what is this called? The learning machine? Yeah, you want to make sure you claim as many learning machines as possible. So this is the first one I have claimed, so we're going to go ahead and go to the T1 areas, and I think I will return the video as soon as I get to them, instead of just showing me riding to them. Alright, so we've arrived at our first destination. Now generally I do recommend just having enough stuff to eat and drink with you. Just pretty much at all times. Now, this server did launch later in the day, which is why you're seeing it's at 8 hours. But we can't really control when new servers launch anymore. They basically said that it's completely random, which honestly is fine. It just makes it harder for us to keep track of like when a new server launches. Because as I said, it is completely random when it does. I don't know why this one's following me. I might have to just kill her. I just hate killing these ones because they take so many shots to kill versus the normal zombies. But sometimes it does be like that, where they just chase you forever and ever. Nice. We got a death pile there. Probably got killed by zombies, let's be honest. Okay, first things first, in all of these rooms, the very most important part of going to all the T1 areas is getting your learning points. They don't seem like much, but there is actually, I believe, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 T1 areas. So it is very important that you are able to get all 7 learning points, especially day 1. It does actually let you go a little bit further. And then, you know, you do want all T2s as well, but T3 is where it becomes like where you can't really get them. And then some T4s you can get, but not every T4. So it's important to know at least which ones you can get. Alright, I think I'm far enough away. Alright, I will return after we get to the second area. So the thing to keep in mind while running to each of these locations is looting literally every monument is very important, especially if you are solo. So basically from these you're gonna get like either green springs, you're gonna get fuses, you're gonna get basic scrap, like or basic components, yeah, primary components. All of these are majorly important for you, and especially fuses later on. You're basically going to want as many of them as physically possible, because those are going to be your bread and butter for meds. Now, let's see. We have another guy here who knows roughly what he's doing, maybe? Is he just going to run straight into there to do the... Is he going to turn on the generator? No? Okay, fine, I'll turn on the generator. I don't know. I don't care. Okay, apparently that guy might die instead of actually succeeding. Did I use two bits of it? I don't know. Now, if there's someone outside of there, you do want to make sure that you claim these first. It seems like I was a bit too hasty and the man just died instead of doing anything else. Maybe he didn't have pants on? And so the major thing about this game to keep in mind is, in most cases, your chest and pants are your two most important pieces of armor. You want to get those first, they cost the most, but at the same time, there is not too much more you can do without them. As without those, you literally cannot progress. So it is important to make sure you're getting those, and also just make sure you're getting all the little tiny things around the monuments. Like I said, like basically just having the primary components is gonna help you so much more later on. Where did this man die? I mean, I don't actually blame him for dying to this lady, but still. Did he die again? No, it's just random loot, I see. Alright, so next we go off to the more dangerous T1, which is going to be the military monument. Now, it's not really dangerous in terms of PvE. It's dangerous because it is the first one where you kind of get into, like, it can be PvP. So I'll be right back as soon as I get there. Alright, so we are coming up on the military monument. Now, this is, I think, just literally called military camp, if I'm not mistaken. So why is my naked man running around here? Like, why? Oh man, he got some diesel. Oh man, he got a med kit too. Oh, I appreciate him. I'm just confused. That's all, I guess. So these are not really hard. If you just hit in the head, they will get one tapped. So they're not overly difficult. Like these just T1 ones. So as long as you hit them first, they generally don't hurt you. I'm just a little bit confused at that man's actions, but I guess it is what it is. Some people will just run up to you for no reason. I mean, you can choose to be nice to them, you could choose to be mean to them. I mean, it's really up to you how you choose to interact with people. I just get confused, I guess. Okay. We got some metal pipes, we got some more of those basic stuff, we got more metal pipes. Now, ideally, we get another intermediate component, but that is highly unlikely. Let's put away stuff that we know that we're going to keep. This, honestly, we can discard because it's not generally useful. We're going to put that away. We're going to put this away. Generally speaking, you just want to put away anything that you feel like you will miss if you lose it. Just that way, like, if you die, you don't accidentally lose them. And, like, the major thing that you should actually be putting in is the primary iron components, because they can be a little bit of annoying to get. Not overly difficult to get, but you can only get so many of them day one. Now, once you start getting to, like, the steel, like, those, you have, like, bosses that you can do. So, it's not that big of a deal. if you can't get these, and you can, there's some bosses that you can kill that don't require like armor. So you could, in theory, skip like the entire thing that I'm doing right now, and you could just go straight to steel armor. I don't generally recommend it, because killing the bosses without at least some things lining up for you is a little bit harder. I mean, granted, now if you're in like a group or something, like let's say that you were like a group of 4 people, I would generally recommend skipping iron armor. I would honestly just go straight to. Also, like if you don't feel confident with yourself, I would actually recommend not even going where I currently am early on, because it's not generally worth being here for this one crate. I just like getting it because it can have that one item I'm looking for. Or it could just have a gun, honestly. So, now, this is a little bit risky, and it's not necessarily even really needed. Honestly, I might just ignore it this time, because I don't even have the iron armor. I'm not ready to face any of the big guys yet, so we can honestly just skip it. Normally, if you want to like rush through, you can kill that one guy, the one big guy, and he'll drop you a orange key card, like an orange book, and that'll let you into the like weird Dr. Frost room. Now, I'm gonna be right back after we farm a couple trees. Mainly, we're just farming trees because this is where we're gonna put down a waypoint. So we're gonna, I think it's like 2 trees or 3 trees is all you need. It might be 3 trees. Let me see. Can I make this and a bed? I can. But then I think that I don't have any wood. The bear chasing me? No, it's not. Okay. So basically, what you just want to do is cut down 2 trees, it seems is the perfect number. Place down your cabinet. Place down your bed. And then you're basically just gonna name this like Millie or something. You're gonna be getting rid of this like very early, but instead of just like teleporting back or running back, you could just teleport here and instantly go kill the boss. That's generally what I do. So I'll be right back after we get to Camp 3. Alright, so yep, so now that we have hit both of those areas, basically what I like doing is I like running in here. I like just double checking this. So this will tell you if someone is actually killing bosses. So no one has turned in any boss kills yet. But as you do see, there are other people that are getting all the learning points. So basically what that is meaning, or what that can mean, is that we are probably about on the same path as other people, which is good. So it means that I might actually have some PvP at the end of this video, potentially. And what we're actually going to do now is we are going to go run all the way up to the nuclear power plant, because we're going to basically try to hit all the T1 areas for research points. So I will be right back as soon as we get there. So I did not actually know that this is here, but we're gonna try killing it. Now I'm probably gonna fail. I'm not gonna lie, but let us see. Oh boy. Yeah, I think I'm okay. I figured I'd at least see, but I do like negative damage to it. so... And I'm guessing that if you run too far away, it'll probably reset it. Well, I'm actually right next to the power plant anyway, but... Figured I'd poke at it. Yeah, so basic shotgun, it don't do very much against the screaming siren, which I don't know what else to call it, honestly. You shoot it and it sends out a siren. Now, once we get like MP5 or something like that today, oh man, we can go take that down. It can give you some pretty good like blueprints. I haven't actually really tested to see like what they can drop really. I'm like curious to do it like 20 times and see like what the rough drop rates are. Just to know like what they are, because as far as I know, those are actually new in this playtest. So, don't actually remember seeing them in the last playtest, so we'll have to see if they like stay for launch, you know, or if it's like a one at a time thing that they added. Just decided to Alright, so my combat proficiency has increased, oh boy. And just so people know that yes, this is actually still closed beta. Well, I think people consider it like open beta, but yeah. But this is the last late beta before launch. At least as far as they've said, like they basically have said it's still closed beta, it's kind of open beta, but it's not necessarily like they're advertising the game. So I don't know if it's really considered open beta. Actually, I'll probably take extra cards. Okay, so now from here, we have, let's see, we actually just teleport home. And then from here, I'll meet you back when we go to hospital. Alright, so we are coming up on the hospital now. So from there, we're gonna just basically run the fuse room, and I do want to check on the generator and see if someone has started it. I think I have just enough to turn it on if I do, if I haven't. Now, the generator takes 12 hours to start up. So if you know that you're going to be one of the few that are rushing bosses, I generally do recommend being the one to turn on the generator. So like you said, like 10 hours from now, so someone did turn it on. So 10 hours from now, so that'll be basically 2 hours after the restock, which is kind of unfortunate. Okay. I don't know why so many of them are chasing me. At least so far. Okay. We're gonna use the medkit just to make sure. Okay. Do try to make sure that you pick up pretty much everything. Now, if we can help it, we're gonna ignore the green toxic guy. Alright, as long as that door closes for behind us, we're fine. Alright, Alright, and we have successfully pretty much looted this area. Now someone can run up behind us, shoot us in the back. Generally speaking, it's not that common, but it can happen. So, oh, yep, if you tilt your head, apparently I forgot that it will basically get rid of it. So basically what we're doing now is we got another 2 more blues to go for. We gotta go for abandoned warehouse and air shelter. Ooh, we got some. Okay. Okay. Alright, so we looted everything in here. So we're just gonna completely ignore the green guy because we don't actually have to kill him. I have no idea why we had boss music for a second there. But yeah, there's no bosses here right now. No bosses in the T1 rooms. The only boss is like, well, the only quote-unquote boss would be like when we go to air shelter, but that's nowhere near a boss. He's just a basic guy, basically. Okay, well, let's kill that. Let's go over here. Let's go nab this fuse. Wait, I'm so confused at this game. Like, there's no one there, and the game apparently thinks that there's someone chasing me. Okay. And then let's go loot the senior box, and then we will go pause the video for a second, because we gotta go all the way up to the abandoned warehouse next. Okay, and then basically if you see someone on the ground outside of their TC, you just hit plunder on them. Oh, he gave us a lot of cloth, which is nice. And then we are gonna go, I'll be back as soon as we get to the next green area. Alright, so we are in our next monument. We're just gonna kill the zombies early because can't be asked to get smacked in the face. Oh, someone apparently is here, or was here. Does explain the few zombies. I thought I had a level 1 pass. Oh, I put it in my safe, that's right. So basically, just to keep in mind that if the timer does run out, you do actually get stuck inside of the place. So like if you're down to like the last minute or so, just make sure you rush through the looting and getting the learning point, and then rushing out. Now we're actually gonna go set up like a sub base kind of. Ah, you just lost some berries and stuff. Okay, it's fine. So we're actually gonna go up here. We're gonna go chop down like 2 trees. Okay. Tired of being chased by Dennis. Okay. We're gonna chop down 2 trees. As we saw before, 2 trees was apparently just the perfect number. And the reason that we're doing this is because later on we actually do want to go do the volcano area, which is the volcano cave. So basically what we're doing is we're just setting up like a fast waypoint to that area preemptively. That way later on we don't need to worry about it. Okay, and this is gonna just be basically a volcano. And now I will meet you back as soon as I get to Camp 1, because that is the next area that we're going to. Alright, so we've arrived at the next camp, which I believe the entrance is over here. And once again, we're just gonna go ahead and double check the control station. No one's turned in anything, so that is a good sign. And now we're gonna go here. We're gonna learn this learning point. Now before, remember like when I first started this run, I was at basically 2 learning points. Now after doing this run, I am all the way up to 10 learning points. So we're going to be at 11 more total, just from doing the basic run of getting all the different monuments. T1 monuments at least, and we have to go do all the T2 monuments. So that'll be our next step after we go here, because basically what we did is we had enough metal or refined iron smelting in furnaces that as soon as we finish this run, the furnaces will be done with the refined metal, and then that way we can use it towards going into iron armor. So I will be right back as soon as I hit the next T1. Alright, so we've gotten to the next monument. So this is gonna be the air raid shelter, and then from here, basically we're just gonna teleport straight back to home. Looks like someone is actually already inside, which is perfectly fine. Like, I don't think that you particularly care if people are in any of these monuments. These are in PvP monuments. So, like, there's not really, like, any bad thing from having people here. I mean, it just means that you gotta be, like, slightly careful, but, like, not really either. Because you don't really care if people have beat you to these areas. Because everyone makes their base in, like, different areas. So it's kind of hard to be the first at everything. So you just gotta, like, basically admit that you're gonna be second or third, and then as long as you're happy with that. Especially as a solo, like, you're not gonna be doing very much more. Which, if I'm lucky, some of the zombies will actually just go straight towards her, or Zombra, instead of me. Which, it does look like that happened. As there's definitely a lot less than there should be. No, I doubt Zombra's gonna die. So they probably were hoping I was gonna fall to my death. Oh, this person did not even have the armor ready for this. So, yeah, I don't. Some people come here just to get the boxes and stuff. Which honestly, there is quite a few boxes. So, I mean, that's fair. But this is like probably one of the easiest bosses that you could ever fight. Like, I don't know, like, it's never ever a challenge. So, like, basically what's considered like a small time boss. Because it's more of like a mini boss, and even then it doesn't do like the best job at like being a mini boss. So we got one extra gun, which is nice. But other than that, like there's nothing else from this run that was like quite great. So we now go home. And I believe we picked up the medkit as a blueprint. Let me double check that. We did, so we can actually just learn the T2 or backpack. We can learn the weapon, the MP5. We can learn the SCAR. Now, generally speaking, I do recommend getting to the better pickaxe, but like or better axe, because you are gonna start farming really soon. So ideally, we get 3 more points because you want both the better refined iron axe and the high qual shotgun rounds. Now, this basically is great. But the issue with those is we did not end up getting a second one of the intermediate gun models. So it does kind of limit everything. So I'm gonna start crafting, and then I will be right back as soon as we finish the armor and stuff like that. Alright, so we have crafted up a couple things. So I now had the full iron armor. And I also crafted up a MP5, and we are gonna start with the Nexus Junction as our first T2 monument. Now, generally for this, most times, like, unless you're like overly prepared. Oh, someone killed boss here. So someone was recently here, like 20 minutes ago. So it is good to note that when stuff is on cooldown, it means that someone is slightly ahead of you. So in this case, it just means that someone has killed the first boss, which generally does not matter as much, but it is still good to keep note, basically. Now, I mean, for the most part, this doesn't really matter. So generally what I always recommend doing is going up and doing the card room first, then doing the mech. Just because the card room does take some maneuvering to get to. Now, we can kind of guess where they're going to be going from here. They could be going to... They're probably going to take on Frost, or they're probably going to take on the Volcano. It's honestly like a toss-up between those two, so we're actually going to skip those and go straight to the Sentry base after this. Trying to get that slightly faster, at least trying to get a kill in for tier 2. Now, I mean for this. Oh. They might have actually not even done room, honestly. They could have just killed boss, which is fair. The boss is not generally hard to kill. So what that means is that they probably don't have iron armor. And they might be trying to skip iron armor and going straight to steel. Which honestly is not a bad idea. Like let's say you get, for example, a steel chestplate, it is worth 4 radiation resistance. So it is actually worth like quite a bit of radiation resistance. So They also could be going for guns, so that means that, like, even though I prepared MP5, they could be higher guns than I am. Which means I just got extremely unlucky with my pull, but honestly isn't unheard of. So they probably have no idea where I am, which is fair because this place is like a maze. So we're actually just gonna go run to Frost then, that we saw them potentially not actually kill or take the chest. Or they could have took the chest first, and then that's probably enough time for the respawn, but we're just gonna hope that they didn't take the chests, because the chests were there and everything like that, and it was like less than a 15-minute kill. Now, we're gonna see here, like, whether or not someone did take the chest, or take the armor, because as you see, there is still a boss here. So that is the good sign, and we don't see that the generator's on, which is another good sign. So what that means is that they probably just rushed the mech boss, which is honestly pretty easy to do. Like, he's not, like, overly difficult to kill. So it's not unheard of for people to skip that boss, or to basically skip T1 and go straight to T2. Generally, I recommend just doing it in order. It's just slightly better for you. Not much better for you, mind you, but it is still. Alright. Okay. Now, generally I do recommend just having a lot of bandages here, because it can be a little bit tedious. Now, this guy is generally pretty easy as long as you kill his back. Now, what I might end up doing is, just because we are on a time crunch here, what you can do is purchase about 300 of these for this boss. Now, day one killing bosses is generally not very difficult. It's just that, like, with our current gear, it is not generally recommended unless you, like, know all the boss patterns. Now, with, like, multiple people here, like, it is generally much faster. It's just that without a better shotgun here, this is kind of, I wouldn't really say troll, but it is definitely harder than it can be. It's more for just time-wise. But these are generally easier to fight than, say, like the mechs are. Just because the mechs, like, if you mistime it, will pretty much guarantee do 100 to 200 damage to you. These guys, like, I don't know, like, if you're not used to their patterns, I can definitely see it being a little bit difficult. And as you saw there was a guy that picked up something. But that is why we killed the other thing, so that way you can't just open the door, which is the big thing. So we're pretty safe in here until the guy spawns back. Yeah, he's just doing the blue room. Alright, from here on out, we probably... want to just start using MP5. This is where he starts doing his like rain thing and start doing his like lasers. So MP5 just generally will shred him, especially with high qual. So generally, if you're with a group, I would recommend everyone just having MP5 and just completely decimating. But generally, like if you get like a shotgun here or something, you can just basically have him. Like I tend to just do shotgun until the tier, like until it gets to 30. That is when he does like his enrage and he summons in a boy. Now, generally, like it's not overly difficult. We do have some med bottles as well, just in case we need to, which is quite nice. Alright, about 1 or 2 more, I think, will do it. It doesn't do it, it's weird. Like, for some reason you can't see ice, which I don't understand. Okay. So we actually got exactly what I wanted, which is the shotgun. Now, this basically just means that we end up saving some like materials. So generally what I recommend here is just like healing yourself, making sure that you're ready, making sure I've turned on damage switch. Interesting. Now, as you see, like these shotguns start doing like a lot more damage, which is quite nice. Now we did get a second one. So for the second one, I do tend to just say that you should okay. You should recycle the second one. Now if you're with multiple people, having multiple of these is quite handy, but as a solo, like it generally isn't needed to have multiple, so I generally don't recommend having multiple for that reason. Now we are going to just make sure we open up everything and that we got some fuses, which is really nice. Honestly, we can discard that probably. Hey, we got more components. You get garbage from that. Now, just make sure that you grab these learning points. because yes, these are still useful for you. Now, we got a really lucky early orange card, which is quite nice, so generally I don't recommend saving them though early, because they don't really matter as much as you think. Now, what we're gonna actually end up doing is we're scrapping that blue shotgun and a purple shotgun, and that's because as a solo, you really just want as much material as possible. You don't particularly care about anything else. Now, let's see, is there anything else in these buildings? I don't think so. So now, remember that building that we made, that, the, like, house over here that we made? So we're actually going to go demolish this, and we're actually going to go build a base next to Sentinel Base now. Now, this is twofold, because basically we don't really have to do Frost anymore. If anything, Frost is like a little bit annoying to do. He's not that hard to do at all, like he's not hard at all. But at the same time, if you don't have to do him, I don't generally recommend doing him. They are generally like, you aren't gonna need much more at this point. So I generally recommend just setting up near Sentinel Base. I generally recommend setting up near pretty much everywhere else. He is still probably one of the easiest to do in terms of just general gameplay. Like, Frost does not take very long to do. It's just that a lot of people will go there just because it's a blue room. So because it's a blue room, I generally don't recommend people to be like chilling at it as much. It is relatively safe from people because they do need to have the orange card, which a lot of people don't actually understand, and they need the not really just the orange card, right? People don't understand that they need a certain color card, and basically what we're doing is we're now heading towards Sentinel Base, and we're gonna actually start farming the desert for the is it like bottle antidotes, basically is what they're called, but I just call them pills, honestly. And I will be right back as soon as we get to Sentinel Base. Alright, so we have made a tiny base here. Now generally for this one, I do just recommend skipping the entire like first part of this base. You can run through the front, you can start the power sequence and everything like that, but honestly, I generally just don't recommend doing that. Now this might seem cheesy to you, and yeah, in a way this is a cheesy method of completing this base, but I don't see any reason not to until they basically get rid of it. Basically, you can just hover along the edge here, and you'll be able to basically just skip the entire power sequence. Now, I mean, like, a simple fix to this would be making it so that you have to have the power on in order to, like, enter the side room here. But because they did not do that, it basically incentivizes you to just not turn on the power, because it's easier for counters to actually fail the jump than it is to make the jump. So he's gonna do one more, yeah, okay. And then basically this guy is just about counting, so he does his missiles, and then let's see what he does next. So he's probably gonna do like just a wide AoE. Yep. And then he's gonna do another wide AoE. Oh no, he just did a jump instead, which was perfectly fine. So this is all we missed at the other place, like someone just killed the sentinel. They're not really that hard to kill. He's gonna do another wide AoE. And now he's gonna do his jump. Now he's gonna do missiles. Sorry, no, he does wide AoE, then missiles. Oh no, he just did two. Okay, that's two attacks. So he's gonna have his third one. He's gonna be either jump or missiles. Seems like he's doing missiles first. Now he's gonna jump. No? Basically, it's just best to assume that he's gonna jump until he does jump, until after jump. Because his jump is probably his easiest to get hit by. Unless you're like me and you just get hit by the small ones anyway because you don't pay attention. Which I guess is fair enough. And now he's gonna do his jump. And basically, as long as you're walking, he really cannot hit anything. This is like probably the easiest boss, honestly. And he's not even like what I would consider a boss. He's more of like a mini boss. Like the Frost guy is what I would consider a boss to be. But even then, like they basically want it to start out very easy and then get harder as time goes on. Hence why this guy is like, you might want to fall asleep while fighting him. Getting hit a couple times from him isn't really the end of the world, nor does it really matter. He doesn't really do anything to you in general. Okay, well, we got another spaz purple. Okay, interesting. So basically we're getting unlucky because ideally we just get like more guns. And honestly, we've gotten 0 guns, so it's been kind of just unlucky in that regard. But we're mainly just here for the parts that I didn't even get from him either. We're here for the steel components, which we hopefully will get some from here. Yep. Okay. Pretty generally easy. We have some stuff to recycle, and we have this learning machine blueprint. Now, generally what I'm going to do now is, because we are kind of ahead of the curve, I think I'm going to spend probably the next hour or so farming the scorpions, and I will show you where I do farm them. Generally, I recommend getting enough to farm, like, however much that you generally want, because especially with how they now changed the crafting recipe, I'm probably gonna end up farming them like way more than I have before. And with the purple shotgun, it's actually a breeze. Now, you're supposed to be able to just jump on this fence. Yeah, so, and then you can just jump right out. And then you're safe. So that's really how you're supposed to do it. Like, not how you're meant to do it, but how I generally recommend doing this place. Now, I am probably gonna pause it for a split second. Let me just go depot this stuff. Or just take out some stuff that I want generally to be in my inventory. Is there anything, like, I don't particularly need that, this, these, this. Okay, I mean that's enough. Like it'll be fine from here. Okay, so basically we're gonna want to go to here. So I will be back as soon as I get there. Alright, so we have arrived at the monument. Now, there are actually like a couple chests here, and there's a couple wolves and stuff. Generally, I just ignore them. Let's wait until they should de-aggro here. Yeah, okay. So I generally start at like this corner. And we're mainly only here for the scorpions. So you see the scorpion here. You just come up. Generally, if you get good hits, you can basically kill it in like 1 or 2 hits. Or 2 to 3 hits, sorry. So if you're unlucky, it's 4, but it's fine. So basically, you're just running around, and I think there's about 10 scorpions. And I mean, if you wanted to, you can loot the middle stuff. I don't generally care for the most part, as I mainly just care about getting the scorpion kills. It seems about 4 seem to be about the average of you killing them. I think if you have high qual, it's going to be a lot faster. But see, like, you do get like chips, you get biotoxins. Now mainly we're here. The biotoxins are nice, but no one has really managed to figure out like what we need to do to craft them. I think I know. I think it is actually just crafting like actual batteries. I will have to check next time I go to a place and see if it is like actual batteries, because basically they say like there's not enough battery. So this is where you get your biotoxin, and then this used to be how you got like your RadAway, how you get other stuff, but they basically decided that due to the amount of people that were like able to just bypass armor, it was not the best idea to have the RadAway in the game, especially as they wanted to slow down progression a little bit. So basically all they did is they took away the fact that you could like get rid of radiation, and because they did that, I think they also nerfed poison. Poison does seem to be nerfed in this, like versus like the last playtest. Used to be that like you basically kept getting hit over and over, and it would go through your armor and stuff, but armor does seem to negate poison now, which is quite nice. And now, that's generally just the route. You just run around in circles, and generally I just AFK and give it about, I want to say generally like 5 minutes. Just go watch a YouTube video for 5 minutes in between each time that you kill them. And you will find that it actually is very simple to farm up your biotoxin. Now the other area is actually doing it at the pyramid, but due to the pyramid having its like vortex around it, it actually makes it impossible to farm early because it does not exist early. This is also a great place to just store up on like diesel fuel. Just every 5-10 minutes it respawns, and if you're just killing the scorpions anyway, It is generally quite nice. So I'm just gonna pause the video here and we'll return after I get enough. Mainly I'm here just trying to get antidotes at this point. So antidotes are what we're going to be using to heal ourselves in like boss fights and PvP, so I will be right back. Alright, so we grinded out, it looks like 29 toxins, 9 antidotes, and 3 adrenalines. Now generally I recommend, especially early on, only bring like maybe 3 antidotes at a time. Don't like overkill the amount of antidotes that you're bringing. Mainly because of if you die and you lose them, you are gonna spend the next 20 years trying to get more of them. It's not like a general like fun concept of grabbing more antidotes, I will not lie. It is something that I wish that they like fixed the machine, or at least they made the machine easier to understand. I am gonna try something in a bit to see like maybe if it was just me not understanding how they work. It is entirely possible that we as players just don't understand what batteries are. But basically now we are gonna head up to do the last tier 2 really, which is gonna be the volcano, and that's gonna give us the last point that we want for tier 2. And if I look at in here, we have deciphered 13 out of 15. I will show you two different areas that you can grab like 2 extra pieces, but basically we are gonna need, I don't think full set. We're gonna need at least, I don't even know if you technically need the 3rd piece. 3rd piece does help. But generally I do recommend grabbing both these chestplate, the legs, and the gauntlets, because you're gonna want the gathering eld. I mean, everything else is fine, it just adds heat resist, which we don't actually need until day 4 when we go up on the on the volcano proper. So we're actually gonna use this teleport now, and we're gonna go do the volcano area, and then I will be right back as soon as we get there. Alright, so generally speaking, this is, I want to say, relatively straightforward. Doesn't require like any brain power really. No, I mean that's probably the most annoying part. But it's not generally the end of the world. Okay, and oh, we just one-shot him instead. Nice. Now, normally you can start this thing, and honestly, like, I generally do recommend starting it early, but there isn't really any reason to do so. Because, at least from my experience, you generally just want to kill everything, open all the boxes, and this will make finding the guy much easier because you're not going to have to be killing, you know, all the different rooms of mobs. It'll just already be cleared for you. Okay, well, I killed the guard. Oh, yep, and if you do get hit by it, it just, like, stuns you for a second. So it is quite annoying. But it's not the end of the world if you do get hit by it. It does, like, no damage, and, like, we are basically at the point where we can be steel armor. But we're just chilling here in iron armor for now. Because there really is no point in going steel armor early. Like, it doesn't really, like, give you anything, like, important. It used to be that you wanted to rush, like, pyramid boss and stuff like that. In which case, you know, it would be kind of useful. Okay. But as it is now, like, if you're just going to run around doing tier 2 areas, you don't generally need better armor. Now against PvP, I do generally recommend, yeah, you're gonna want to have better armor. It's just the way that it is. Like, better armor does actually help you in PvP a lot more. But we're just over here doing just basic stuff right now. We're probably gonna end up this video crafting up the steel armor. And then we'll probably start the next video after that, basically. So this just means that some guards will spawn where the battery spawns. I think it does also just generally respawn, like, basic areas. But it's not very hard to clear these areas. Mainly, you're just looking for this robot here. Now, this robot can be a pain to kill sometimes. But all you're looking for that robot is because that robot is hacking the battery. And once you destroy the battery, it basically just opens the store here. And then you're able to just go through. Oh, I barely got clipped by that, it seems. Okay, so we are gonna go ahead and I kind of want to loot everything I can for these because they're good for MP5s. Ideally, we have 2 MP5s, and that's what we're going to be doing next. So next video is going to be starting the tier 3 grind, and right now this is just mainly just showing you guys like all the T1, T2 areas, just showing you like how to basically start every server. Generally, once you get the shotgun, it becomes kind of easy to kill these guys. You will see probably in the next video, we're probably gonna clear these guys maybe once or twice more, because they're easy to clear, and we're gonna start using high qual ammo, which is going to completely decimate these guys. So that's why we're gonna make a second kind of like shack near this place. We got hit by that, which is fine. Doesn't actually do anything to get hit by it. It just annoys you. He's probably the easiest one to actually run around and dodge. Because yeah, he just shoots up some flames, which does nothing, and then once you get close to him, he'll just start sending up flames to you. Which is probably the easiest one to dodge is you just run forward and he won't always miss you. So he's kind of a joke, but you know, this is basically the playthrough that you gotta do. You just run forward, he shoots flames at you, you shoot back at him. Oh, alright, well, we're out of ammo. So now we're gonna speed through him a bit. But yeah, if you do get hit by the flames, it doesn't even do that much damage to you. Honestly, if you wanted to, you could pretty much just face tank it. There's really no penalty for doing so. You think that there would be, but there really isn't. Alright, oh, maybe one more run. Oh no, I missed some. So that's gonna be one more. We got basically nothing from that, which is nice. Not the end of the world. Oh, we got another intermediate component, which is actually really good. Let's see. We could probably just discard this. We could probably discard the one chemical. And that now means that we now can use yeah, actual prepper guns. We can use the ARs now. Which, honestly, I don't generally care for. I do recommend picking up all those, making sure. So basically, we're just gonna run out. We're just gonna make like a sub base up here, and then we're just gonna teleport back. And I mean, that's pretty much gonna be the end of the video. So that's really all I wanted to show. There was nothing really fancy about it. I just wanted to make sure I showed you guys all the different areas that you can start, and then once we go into doing like T2s and like farming more, I'll probably farm towards one of the easiest like ones to grab, because we're gonna need a lot more iron, a lot more sulfur, honestly just a lot more of everything, sadly, because sadly this game requires, so you see that the timer at the top right, hour 41 minutes. So generally, I do recommend just taking like one or two of these bosses and just farming them like as much as you can. You don't generally want to do too many of them. I think like 2 of them is probably plenty. Like this one is very easy to do. Costs you like next to nothing to do as well, honestly. So I do generally recommend, this is definitely one I do recommend farming, is it is probably the easiest one to do, and I probably recommend doing the one that is the Sentinel base as well, and just having those as your 2 that you do. So I'm gonna end off the video here. We went through, we did all the T2 areas, we basically got now enough to get, we have 110, so if you look at the armor, we need 40, 80, and then you need 100. So we got 100, we almost actually got enough for another one of these as well. So we're almost at actually a full set of steel gear. within the first, I want to say it's been about 4 hours. So I mean, it's not bad. Especially as a solo. If you're with a group, it is much faster. But sadly, there wasn't really much PvP right now. But hopefully, second video, there'll be some PvP in it. Because we did prepare a little bit ahead of time. We got some antidotes, we got some adrenalines. So we're going to start using those episode 2. So I will see you soon.